Hello Year 10, my name is Sue Lewis and I'm going to be taking you through this presentation. So it's all about work experience and I'm going to be talking about why do it, what to think about when you're planning it, but also about going virtual because in 2021 you're probably going to be having a virtual work experience, which will mean it'll all be happening online. So just to get us thinking about careers and thinking about jobs, here's a quick quiz question to you. What did these people do before becoming famous? So the first person you probably recognise used to be the President of America. His name is Barack Obama. And he probably had all sorts of jobs. But he started off as an ice cream seller. And then the singer here is Rihanna. And she was initially an army cadet. I don't know if you recognise the third person here as Nicola Adams, and she's an Olympic boxer, and she used to be a builder. And what this shows really is that, you can start off in all sorts of ways, but you can end up in all sorts of other ways. It's all about the journey that we're all taking through life and our careers. So this is where you are at the moment, thinking about your Year 10 work experience. And this can have a real impact on the career decisions you make for the future. It can help you think about the post-16 options you are interested in. If you go to a work experience in a particular area, you might think, okay, that helps me think about the post-16 courses that are going to help me get the job I'm interested in. And also when you come to choose your post-18 options, it can help you with that too. Also, this is the beginning of your journey to choosing the sort of careers you might be interested in the future. So work experience is very relevant. Although it just seems like Year 10, it's an opportunity to explore things, and that might ultimately end up with you thinking about a job you would like, or maybe even a job you really don't want to do. So why do work experience? Well, I think it's a chance to find out about a company and find out how a company operates. It's also an opportunity for you to learn or practice your skills in a different way, because you might have done that through school, but now it's an opportunity to do that in a work situation. It's also an opportunity to try out a role, to see what it's like, to see whether you like it or what you like about it, what you're not so keen on. It's also an opportunity for the people of the workplace to see you as a future worker, but also for you to see yourself as a future worker. How does it feel to be in that different situation after being in school for all these years? So in 2021, it's likely that this experience is going to be all online. So we'll talk more about that as we go through. The other thing about work experience, it can help you answer these questions. Is this the sort of job I like? You might be passionate about this job, working in childcare, whatever it might be, and then sometimes you go and work experience and think, oh, it's not quite what I expected. What skills do I need to do this job? What's going to be useful for me to build up so that when I apply, I've got the good skills that I can show at interview? What's the best way to talk to a job? Maybe talk to a boss. Maybe you've never had to do that before. So it's important to learn those things. And work experience is a great way to find out. Do I like the working conditions? I've always wanted to work in an office, but now maybe it's not right for me. Maybe I want to be outdoors. So it's a good opportunity to find those things out. Could I do this job every day? That's a useful one to know, really. Could I get up every day, go there from 9 till 5? Is that going to suit me? And then ultimately, how could I get into this job if it's something that I want to do? So to get the most out of work experience, these are the things I think you need to do. Number one, you need to think about what you've got to offer. What skills have you got? What interests? Because some employer might ask you about those things, but it's also about trying to marry up what you want to do in the future with the things you're interested in and the skills you've got currently. Then you want to think about a job sector or a job that you'd like to try out as part of work experience. And it's useful to have a CV ready to show to your employer or to be able to talk about, or at least have thought about the key reasons why you want to do that particular work experience. So the good news is help is on hand. Career Pilot has a lot of information that's going to help you plan your future work experience. Your school might also be doing a skills builder. Some schools are. But anyway, Career Pal talks a lot about skills and helps you to think about the ones you've got. So here's some examples. Being able to listen well, being able to speak to different people, problem solving, creativity. So skills are really important. I think this quote shows that quite well. No matter what job you have in life, your success will be determined 5% by your academic credentials, that's your qualifications, 15% by your professional experiences, the things you do, but 80% by your communication skills. And that just shows really the skills are really important. Obviously qualifications will get you the job, but what you're using in jobs is often a range of skills. So we're going to be using Career Pal today. You might have used Career Pal before, so I'm just going to show you some of the key things we'll be doing. So this is the Career Pal homepage, careerpal.org.uk. We'll mention that again later. You're going to be, first of all, registering if you've never used Career Pal before, or signing in if you have and you remember your password. You can sign in here. We're going to be using the dark colour part here called Career Tools, and in particular you're going to be doing the skills profile to find out what skills you've already got. We're going to do something called the job quiz, which will be in Start With You, and then we're going to start looking at different jobs that might be available, trying to think of things that might be interesting to you and maybe things you could do for work experience. So in terms of the first stage I mentioned about things you need to do in terms of preparing, think about what you have to offer, your skills and interests. Let me show you what we have there to help with that. So in Career Palette, the skills profile is here, as well as actually being in the Career Tools, the grey bit on the side. We're going to do that in a minute, and also you're going to do some of the quizzes to help you get started. I'm just going to show you what these look like. Okay, this is a quiz called the Job Sector Quiz, and that's one particular one you'll be doing. So the skills profile, it starts by asking you about things you've done in your life, your learning, your work, and there'll be loads of things there that you've done already. Click as many of those as you want to. So for example, under hobbies, I've kept going with a hobby or sport out of school. And for everything you tick, what it'll show you is which skills that activities help you to practice or develop already. Then everything is put into our skills profile. So here are all the skills we might be using, and what you can do is, some of these examples will come from your quiz results, but you can add your own. So it's good to think about the things you've been doing in your life that weren't mentioned in our quiz. So it might be you did some babysitting, or maybe you're in a team, or maybe play a particular instrument, or anything really that you do will have helped you develop your skills. So what you can do is add your own example, put what the example is. I did some babysitting for my friend's mum, and think about the skills that that gave you. So just tick a few that you think you did get from that experience. You can say whether you did it in school or out of school and save it, and then that'll be added into your profile. So today we'd like you to add at least 2 examples of things that you've done. Think about the skills it gave you, and then they'll all be added in here alongside the things that came from the quiz. So the one at the top has got the most examples. This one says teamwork, 5 examples from the quiz and 1 added by the student. What you can also do here is compare your skills to the skills required in the job. So if you type in the name of a job like nurse, plumber, whatever it might be, then you'll see the skills that that job needs, and you can see your skills alongside that. And it might be you've got a good example you could put in that will help to match a little bit more to the job you're interested in. But you're only in year 10, so don't worry too much about that. But that is certainly something you could be doing over time when you use Career Pilot. Okay, so the other thing I suggest you do is think about a job sector or job you would like to try. And we've got a quiz that will help you to do that. So if you go to Start With You, quizzes to get you started, and you could do our job sector quiz. So this is where you'll get asked about things you might like to do in a work situation. You know, what's important to you? Do you want to work indoors or outdoors? And you could tick as many of these as you want to. And then you'll get some results that show you which sectors. A sector is like a big thing, like health and social care covers all the medical and social care kind of jobs. So there's often a heading for the big thing with lots of jobs underneath it. So this will tell you which sectors might be appealing to you. So you can look at the results and then look at the jobs that might be interesting to you. So first of all, you're going to be registering. If you've already registered previously, you can sign in if you remember your email you used and your password. If you haven't got much in Career Pilot saved before and you can't remember all your details, that is a forgotten password tool, try that first. You could set up a new account for Key Stage 4. Okay, so you'll fill in this form, you'll put in your school, just start typing it and then it'll come up, put in your year group. Don't forget, you need to remember the email you're going to use today and remember the password. So write them down somewhere where you normally keep your passwords. Okay, so task 1, this is what you're going to be doing. We've run through some of these things, I'm just doing a reminder with you. First of all, you're going to register or sign in on Career Pilot, and that means you can use all those career tools and save all your stuff on the site. That's number 1. Number 2 is you're going to do the skills map I showed you, and that is in Start With You, that blue coloured section, and add 2 examples of things you've done yourself. Number 3, you're going to go to Start With You again, but this time you're going to click on quizzes and you're going to do the job sector quiz. And if you finish early, then you might want to have a look at Start With a Subject, and that will show you whether the particular subject you might like might take you in the future. So that'll give you job ideas too. So this will take about 15 minutes to do these particular activities. So I suggest you keep the screen on, go and do the activities for 15 minutes and then come back. So you can pause this video and then start it again. Okay, so hopefully you had some time to explore the skills you have and to get some idea of job sectors that you might want to explore. So we're moving on now to the second section really of suggestions I have for your work experience, which is that you look at particular jobs and get an idea if they're the sort of things you want to do on work experience. So we're going to go on to section 2 of our website now, explore your options. And what we're going to look at are the jobs. And there's a whole section in here about work experience as well, so that might be useful too, and it also has links to actual work experience opportunities. Okay, so you've got some results now, so you can start looking at the sectors that might be interesting to you. If you go back and find them in My Job Sectors, then this is what you'll see, this yellowish page, and you can see there's a match between you and this sector. So you can look at the first one, you can look at the second one, you can look at all the ones that are recommended if you have time. And in there, you will find particular information about jobs. So on our jobs landing page, where you can start from, you can look at any jobs by sector. You can start with a subject and see where a job might lead. And there's various other things you can see here too. So if you're looking at a job by sector, as I said, the sector is the big thing, agriculture, and then within that there'll be lots of different jobs. So you can click on the one you're interested in, and then you'll find out a little bit about it. If you click on the job profiles, which is that big pink button there, then you'll be able to see the jobs. Don't forget, if you like things, add them to your career tools. So whenever there's a cross like this, you can add it to your career tools, and that will help you put a report together of the careers that you're interested in. If you click on job profiles, then you'll see lots of jobs related to that particular sector. So this is animal care worker, animal technician. So if you click on any of those, you'll get lots of information about the job. Okay, how to get into it, how much you might earn, video stories about the job, and again you can see the skills that we were looking at earlier and other jobs that might be related to this, so that might give you even more ideas. So have a good look around the jobs in a minute. Don't forget, keep tagging the things you like. If you see anything useful on Career Pilot and there's a little cross, add it and that'll appear in your career tools. And that creates a big report for you in the end. Okay, so task 2. Number one, you're going to look at the sectors that have been suggested by the job quiz you did earlier. Explore 2 or more jobs. You might get to more, but just have a look at those jobs, see if they seem appealing to you. You might want to look at the salaries and what's involved in that job as well. So we're going to give you 15 minutes to explore jobs. So have a good look around the system. Again, I'll leave the screen up, pause the video here, go away for 15 minutes, come back and put the video back on. Great, so hopefully you explored quite a few jobs, you've got some ideas of things you might like to do in the future or things you might like to do for work experience. Just to say too, in our stories section, you could search for a particular sector and they just tie in with the sectors you were looking at earlier, and you can see a whole lot of videos about working in that sector by people who've actually got those jobs. So that's another good way to find out more about a particular job area. So I wonder which sectors you explored. I've just shown you a few here. I wonder if any of you looked at these particular sectors. Did anybody find a job that earns more than £100,000 a year? The national average at the moment is about 29,000, so 100,000 is a really well paid job. I found a few. I found surgeon. You can see they start low, but as they get more experience they go up to over 100,000. Solicitor is another example. So we talked a lot about your skills and the sort of job sectors you might be interested in doing a work experience in or interested for the future. But we need to bear in mind that in 2021 it's likely that you're going to have a virtual experience. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. This means it's all going to happen online, but the advantage of that, it could be anywhere in the world. You're not going to be restricted to where there's a bus to somewhere. It could be anywhere. It could be Google. It could be somewhere in Silicon Valley. You could be doing all sorts of things. So you could think as broad as you want. It could involve a virtual tour of the workplace. It might sort of show you around, show you different jobs. It might mean you have to speak to a particular person online about their job. They might set up a time when you could do that. It could be mean you being asked to do a set task. They might give you a task and say, okay, you've got 2 days to report back or something like that. It could mean you have to have an online interview or chat with an employer. Do be aware of safeguarding issues to do with this, and do talk to your school about the right ways to go about that. It should be set up by your school for you, really, and they should know that that is taking place. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a whole section about work experience in Career Pilot. So if you go to the jobs section, at the bottom there's one little button which says finding a job or experience, and we've got a whole section about virtual work experience as well. What we try to do is put in any examples we've heard about. So there might be particular things you just want to look up for now, or think about applying for your virtual work experience time. So just a quick summary of all the things we've talked about. So to get the most out of work experience, what do you need to do? You need to find out about your skills, your interests, think about the job sector or job you'd like to try. And it's good to have a CV ready, or at least have thought about why you want that particular experience. So when the employer asks that question, you've got a good answer ready. One other thing you can do is start to put some action points together in Career Pilot. Stage 3 of our Career Pilot website, it's called Planning Next Steps, and there's an action planning tool there. So you could add a few actions about what you're going to do. You're going to finish your CV, you're going to draft an email to an employer, you're just going to explore the virtual work experience opportunities. So it's good to have a few actions. If you're interested in giving us some feedback about Career Pilot, we'd love to have that, and you could win a £10 Amazon voucher, which we give out every month, and that is right at the bottom of the homepage of Career Pilot. There's a banner that moves, get to the bit that says give feedback, and there's a very short questionnaire there. So I just want to say a big thank you for listening, and to wish you well with planning your virtual work experience. Hope you get a lot out of it. So thanks very much.